Hi, my name is Katie Teese. I'm one of the therapists at PCS, and I'm here today to talk to you about genograms. So we're going to help you get set up to create your own genogram. A genogram is a therapeutic version of a family tree. So if you open up in your digital binder, you should find that there is a tab with some information about genograms, including some pages with some symbols. They look kind of like this. So you're going to want to have that reference handy. Some markers. If you've got some markers of different colors, that's going to be ideal. And then a piece of paper. Probably the biggest piece of paper that you can find. Behind me, I've got one of those large Post-it note presentation size that I'm going to use to show you today. But just want to have something that you've got a lot of space. Otherwise, you're going to have to write a little small. Okay, so once you've got all of your materials together, the first thing we're going to do is create the structure. So the structure is really the map. So again, in that binder, you should have a sample of an example genogram of what it's going to look like. But I'm going to take you through that process as well today. So when you're thinking about putting the structure onto paper, one thing that can be really helpful is to just take a minute or two and think about the family that you come from. Does your family, are there a lot of kids, a lot of siblings in your family? Or does your mom one of 10, but your dad's an only child? That may just help you figure out the spacing. So I'm going to present a sample family up here. Now, I like to start off by putting on myself first. So this is going to be a fictitious example. So we're going to make up some people as we go along. We're going to use the name Beth. So this is as if the client is Beth. We're going to start here. Okay, so we've put the client down and we've got a little circle here, and then we're going to map out from there. I'm going to pause for a second and come back once I've been able to draw out a little bit more. We'll go from there. So now you can see I've completed the structure of my genogram. So I'm just going to take you through this real quick. Using the different symbols from the sheet, I created a map. So here we started off with our client, who would be yourself, and we used the name Beth. So right here, you can see that Beth is 47 years old. And we've got a circle because she's a female. And then parents, we can see here the lines connect up to Dad, who's Steve, and Mom, who's Rita. So by looking at this, these two were married, and we draw a line connecting to them, and we designate that they were married in 1972 here, and they had 2 children. So we draw a line stemming down from that marriage line, first going from the oldest to the youngest. So Beth is the oldest at 47, and then her brother Carl at 44. Now, Dad was previously married. So over here, I included Dad's first marriage. So his first marriage was to Rachel. And now this line connecting Dad and Rachel has a double hash line through it. So that is to show that that relationship ended in divorce. Now there are also children here. And this inverted V is the way that we designate twins. So we have Gina and Georgia, who are twins. Now going up a generation, you can see in Dad's family, Dad's father and Dad's mother here, both are deceased. So they have a line crossing out to show that they have passed away. Now in the upper right-hand corner, I've included the age that they were when they passed away. So here we have Granddad Stephen, passed away at 82, Grandma Shirley, and she passed away at age 70. Again, we're going from oldest to youngest. So their first child Trisha, Dad's sister, and then Dad. However, Trisha, as you can see here, we've got the lines crossing her out, which means she's deceased, and Trisha died at 7. So that's important when we're looking at these things. We can get a picture of, okay, we know that Dad lost his sister when he was very young. So they would have been, quite small when that happened, and it would have significantly impacted the family. Now over here, we've got Mom's side of the family, and we did the same thing. We've got Mom's dad, Grandpa Bill, and Grandma Karen. Both are deceased. Grandpa Bill passed away at age 76. Grandma Karen passed away at age 80. And together, they had 3 children. So Mom here is listed all the way on the left because she's the eldest, Samantha and Patricia. And this relationship was a marriage that ended in divorce. So that also has that double hashed line. Coming down here, back to our main character, Beth, we added in her family as well. So she is married to Keith, and they've been married since 2001. And together they have 2 boys who they have adopted. So we use this line to show the adoption. And we've got Stevie, who's the eldest at 15, followed by Ricky, who's 13. So hopefully this shows you a sample of how you can set up the structure of the genogram. Next, I want to talk a little bit about how we're going to talk about family relationships. So in a therapy session, you'll have a chance to talk more about the different dynamics of the family. But I want to bring your awareness to what we use the emotional relationship lines. So these are different lines to denote a relationship between people. So I'm going to use a different colored marker. This is where it's helpful to have a few different colors if you have them available, so that these lines are what I'm using for my relationship. So I've got a pink marker here. So if I'm Beth and I say, okay, well, what was the relationship between Steve and Rita? So Dad and Mom. What was that like growing up? And I think, okay, well, they were kind of indifferent to each other. They were friendly, but they didn't really connect. The relationship didn't go deep. So I'm going to use the line for indifferent. So that's a dotted line. And we're just going to draw this across here, connecting those 2 individuals. Okay? So hopefully you can see that dotted line right there. Now over here we have Dad and his first wife, Rachel. So as we know in the structure, he was married to Rachel before he married Mom, and this relationship ended in divorce. So for this scenario, we're going to say that Dad and Rachel ceased to have any connection after the divorce. Rachel kept the children, so Dad and his first 2 daughters, also have no relationship. So for that, we're going to use the estranged. That's a dashed line with 2 upward lines in it to show estranged. So now we have that line connecting Rachel and Dad, showing that that's an estranged relationship. And we can go ahead and do the same from Dad to these 2 daughters. So as you're going through, you're going to want to focus on the primary relationships in your family. So we want to look at what were the relationships that you observed growing up? What was the relationship like between Mom and Dad? What was modeled for Dad within his family? What's the relationship like between myself and my mom, myself and my dad? And connect all of these through to help you start to understand the different dynamics within the family system. I hope that's a helpful introduction to getting the structure down and starting to integrate those relationship lines. There's a lot more information that we can get out of a genogram, and I hope that you're able to continue adding detail and information in your sessions.